All right, man, we back. More C Sports Talk. Let's talk some Pistons. Apparently, a lot of Piston fans out there are turning sour and turning against Blake Griffin. And basically, I guess it's time for them to admit that the trade was a bust. I mean, we all knew the Clipper trade was bad. It was great for them. They end up, flipping Tobias and everything else, creating space to basically get them an opportunity to win a world championship. And the Pistons have really been on the decline. It just wasn't the Blake Griffin move. It was, Jennings hurting his knee, leading to Reggie Jackson. Just taking Luke Kennard over Devon Mitchell, and just a whole bunch of moves. But let's talk about Blake. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you want to make a donation to the channel, best way to donate is share the video. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, that icon button. And my thing is, Blake has really changed his game over the years. Even when he was with the Clippers, he was hitting last-minute jumpers, improved ball handling, really becoming more of a point forward, okay? But a lot of people saying he's slowing the Pistons down, he getting in the way. And, unfortunately for the Pistons, they didn't have a way to amnesty Blake Griffin this year. It didn't seem like they put amnesty in the rules. But, everybody was telling me that it was a good trade and the Pistons needed to make this trade. And the Pistons didn't make this trade for basketball reasons. They made this trade for financial reasons. All right, we all know that. They made this trade for financial reasons. And that's it. They made this move for this trade to put people in the Little Caesars Arena. And they underestimated Blake's pulling power. People in Detroit don't care if you put a superstar on the floor or not. They care about winning basketball games. And Blake Griffin, they didn't win basketball games. The half season he was here, they didn't do much. But the second season they was here, they mismanaged Blake, okay? A ton. All right, you got to give Blake the benefit of the doubt because it was the Pistons that continued to run him in the ground when they lost like 15, 16, 17 straight. And Blake is out here playing 40 minutes and, they getting blew out. So, really, they ran him into the ground that second year. And then, remember, after the All-Star break, he got even more injured. And they were trying to basically run him in the ground just to make the playoffs. They made the playoffs, and then they brought Blake back, even though they was going to get swept whichever way. The issue was for Blake was that they did the Grant Hill mistake. New owner, different general manager, different head coach. But with Grant Hill, they did the same thing. They ran him to the ground when he was no more use. And for Blake Griffin, he ain't going to never be the same after that. Instead of them resting him during the season, managing his load, they was just trying to barely get to the playoffs. And they played him in the playoffs, and it was it. It was already beyond repair at that point. That first full season for Blake Griffin, when they ran him into the ground in the first half of the season, and they ain't trade him and Andre Drummond, it was a wrap. So before y'all turn on Blake Griffin, look at how he was managed. Not only with minutes, but obviously when they got opportunity, when he was playing at an all-NBA third team type of height, they could have traded him then. They didn't. They could have traded Andre Drummond and got it first. They didn't. So just as bad as the personnel has been as far as the draft, they mismanaged players. They misidentified talent. Like on Reggie Jackson, we knew Reggie Jackson wasn't worth the food stamp. Apparently they didn't know. So it all kind of goes back to where we at now. With Troy Weaver, I'm hearing rumors that Troy Weaver didn't even want Killian Hayes. Okay? But I don't know if that's true or not. But at the end of the day, they could have gave away their first round pick and paid Christian Wood, and we would have been in a better position than we are today. And it just seemed like you got no hope for Troy Weaver because he don't know how to identify talent. On Blake Griffin, they might as well send Blake Griffin home. They can't trade him. And when they should have traded him, they should have traded him to Denver. Maybe Denver didn't want that contract, which Denver is struggling, and they barely in the playoffs. They 3-4. I thought they would be better than that. But ain't nobody really blowing the doors off this season other than Philadelphia. But, y'all can get mad at Blake all y'all want to. He should have never been here. And when he got here, he shouldn't have been played the way he been played. We know Blake Griffin been injured since he came into the league. That's what people don't understand. He been injured. So what makes you think whatever he was in when he got here, year 8, 9, whatever it was, 7, what makes you think he going to be like Wolverine and heal better as he get older? It's just not possible. So you shouldn't be mad at Blake Griffin. Be mad at Tom Gores for allowing Jeff Bowers and Van Gundy to get this guy. It just didn't make no sense. Reggie Jackson and Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond wasn't going to win a championship. But some people believe they was going to bring a championship in Detroit. And it wasn't going to happen. So be mad at the person who traded for Blake Griffin. Be mad for the person who ran him into the hardwood. It ain't Blake Griffin's fault. He didn't ask to be here. He didn't ask to play all the minutes a game. And we just at the point that the fans are, oh, he's throwing the team up. He doing this, he doing that. Tough juice. He should have been traded, but nobody want to talk about that. He should have been gone. Been gone. He should never been here in the first place. And the Clippers won the trade. They take a huge contract, remove it, take Harris, trade him, bring in Paul George, bring in Kawhi Leonard, and now they championship contenders. We could have avoided all this had Joe Dumars drafted better than he did. And all you do is plug in Carmelo Anthony and Dwayne Wade. You plug in Dwayne Wade, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? You could bring Tayshaun off the bench. You could move Rip to the 3 eventually and let Wade be the 2. Or you could have took Rip and Tayshaun, traded them, and got some. I mean, it's a lot of things you could have done. This organization is just don't know how to run. I mean, we could go back and say we should have took Booker over Robert Stanley Johnson. Go back and say we should have took Mitchell over Luke Kennard. Went back and said we should have kept Middleton and Spitzer Dinwiddie. I mean, this team could look completely different had they just made the right plays, the right moves. Instead of taking Kentavious Caldwell Pope, what if they would have took Giannis? Just one of these moves would have changed the history of the franchise. We can't say the Pistons didn't have an opportunity. They had opportunities to trade Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond into picks. They had opportunity to take Bola Bola. They had opportunity to take Kevin Porter, even though he's going through some issues. You know, they had an opportunity to take Darius Bazley. He's looking better than Sayoko Diombo is. Just all those little choices. We like to blame a lot on NBA because they don't want to see Detroit thrive, but the players have been there. Paul George, I believe Kawhi Leonard was there when they was drafted. I could be wrong. That all they have to make, like Larry Brown say, is the right play. Play the right way. That's it. Even when they messed up with Blake Griffin and Drummond, had they traded them at both of them at the trade deadline, the rebuild process would have been a few years earlier. We would have been in a better position. You know, instead of trading the pick for Blake Griffin, could end up with somebody that can help us. So I don't think you should turn on Blake Griffin. You should turn on Tom Gores for operating like an idiot. Just one of those moves can change the franchise forever. Taking Giannis over KCP. Franchise is different. You probably hang on to Dinwiddie and Middleton. And Andre, and you probably a championship contender. That surrounding cast, as long as Dinwiddie stay healthy, that surrounding cast is better than when you're dealing with it in Milwaukee already. Just that move. What if you say, oh, we take Booker, then we take Giannis, then we take Booker? Jesus. If it came down to it, instead of Booker, you get Mitchell. I mean, this team could look, we had opportunities to be that team, to be a great team. We had solid players that we could have turned into starters and all-stars like Middleton. I think Dinwiddie helped. He could be an all-star. We had the opportunity we had guys that could help Andre Drummond reach his potential. We traded picks. It's just, some of these dudes shouldn't even be qualified to even be in an NBA facility. So you can get glad at Blake all you want to, and Blake holding us up, but then again, we shouldn't even be at this point. Over the last 10, let's say the last 12, 13, 14 years, 15 years, this team has passed up on more talent. It could have extended the bad boy. The going to work Pistons with Wade or Bosh or Melo. You know, they could have extended it with just drafting Booker, drafting Mitchell, drafting Giannis would have been the big one. The Pistons could have been contenders since going to work, won the championship in 2004. They just can't make the simple right play or move. And that's the issue. But you can blame Blake all you want to. Blake gonna get paid one way or the other. And that's just the way it's gonna go. So, let me know what you guys think. It's really at the ownership and the front office you should be mad at. But don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request. All my social media links in the description. Fastest way to reach me is Twitter, then Facebook, then Instagram. All those links in the description. Want to make a donation? Cash App, CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link in the description. Best way to donate, share the video, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Check out the channel, Wild Good Fellow Sports TV, right here on YouTube.